Good morning. On July 17, 1984, the National Minimum Drinking Act of 1984 was passed. This act enforced that states should change their possession and public purchase age from what they had up into 21. And if they didn't, they would have a 10% decrease of their annual federal highway distribution. Now, did this act make less drinking? Did it make less binge drinking? Just remember, you will all be 18 and 21, and the drinking age will affect you. Today I will persuade you that the Pennsylvania state government should lower the drinking age back to 18 because 18-year-olds are mature enough to fight and die for our country, yet they are not mature enough to drink legally. It will lower binge drinking at colleges, and because 2/3 of the countries around the world has their drinking age at 18 and are not facing problems. Not the only one who agrees. I surveyed 100 people, mostly adults, and 56% of them said that they think the drinking age should be lowered to 18. Now, Laura, you're legally an adult, right?
Yes.
And what age did you become an adult?
18.
And Jared, can you vote in the next presidential election? And why not?
Not 18.
And Julie, your brother's in the Navy or the military, right?
Yes.
And what age could one join the military?
18.
See, 18. And you know what else you can do at 18? You can marry, adopt, have an abortion, gamble, and smoke. Yet you know what's not on this list? You can't drink. You're telling me that a person can fight and die for a country, yet they can't drink? People in the Army are making major split-second decisions and using complex and dangerous artillery, yet they are not responsible to drink. And there really isn't much of a maturity difference between 18 and 21. Dr. David Hansen, a professor at the State University of New York, who has been studying the subject of alcohol and drinking for the past 30 years, says, if drinking in moderation damaged a growing brain, then most French, Jews, Greeks, Spaniards, Portuguese, Italians would all have major mental defects. And also, having the drinking age at 21, it makes people from the age of 18 to 20 use fake IDs, which pretty much is just going against the law and is just illegal. And once people actually do reach the age of 21, they will start binge drinking. And sometimes people even start binge drinking before they reach the sacred age of 21. Now, binge drinking is considered 5 drinks in a row for a man and 4 drinks in a row for a female at one time. Look at this chart. It shows that how alcohol poisoning deaths have doubled from 1999 to 2005. Now, you're saying that this is 5 years ago, but just imagine what it is now. It's much higher. And I'm not the only one who agrees. More than 100 college professors and chancellors have joined in a group called the Amethyst Initiative. The Amethyst Initiative is a group of college presidents, that join together because they want the drinking age to be lowered to 18. President Donald Eastman of Eckerd College says when he joined, what the current age limit does is makes drinking by those younger than 21 a legal, furtive, secret experience with little to no chance for adults' oversight care. Government surveys have shown that 51% of all young people between 18 and 20 are considered binge drinkers, consuming more than 4 to 5 drinks at a single occasion. Wonders what role the current age limit plays in the binge drinking community. Now, if drinking age was lowered to 18 and people learned in the supportive home of the learned how to drink in the parental's house, because it is much easier, it's much better to learn in the parental house about drinking than in the fraternity house. Torben Kruger, a graduate student from Germany studying in America, said, "You're allowed to drink earlier in Europe, so you get used to experiences with alcohol earlier. So when you're 18, you're more responsible about it and can take care of yourself and friends." Now, if we did lower the drink age to 18, in years to come, it will lower the rate of binge drinking. Now, Torben also talked about how the drinking age is lowered in Europe. Now, not just in Europe is it lowered. Look at this map. As you can see, the yellow countries, which are countries like here and here, don't really have a drinking age. They're like 15 and younger. And green countries have a drinking age, like Italy and I think that's Indonesia. have like an age of 16, 17, and the majority of the countries in blue have a drinking age of 18 or 19, and the red, which we fall in, is 20 to 21. Black countries don't, drinking is overall legal, mainly because they're Islamic states and Muslims don't believe in it, and gray states don't, and the gray states have no data available. Now, as I quoted Hansen before, if drinking was bad, then all these Europeans would have mental defects, which they don't. And Hansen also talks about how the NIAAA, or the National Institute on Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism's response to this argument is a person straw tactic, which is mainly they think of a weak argument to counter it and then shoot it down. The weak argument is that that Europeans don't have a drinking problem is a myth. Now, even in this situation, the NIAAA doesn't really have a good counter-argument. Now, if you still aren't persuaded that the drinking age should be 18, here's a plan that is somewhat a compromise between the two. When a person reaches 18, getting the drinking age could be like getting a driver's license. When they reach 18, they would take a test, and that would test their maturity and responsibility. And if they passed it, they would get a drinking permit. And like how driving license come gradually, so would this drinking license. So when they pass it the first time, they get a drinking permit, which is only responsible to drink with the parents. Then they could get a junior's license, which would be only drinking in restaurants and bars with a 2-drink maximum. And then and this would just happen gradually, and they become more freer as time comes, and by 21, they would have no restrictions at all. Because as Hansen says, you don't teach a child to write a sentence by asking him to write an essay. Now I'm asking you to take the action and email our governor, Ed Rendell, by accessing his email through pa.gov. Because if the drinking age is lowered, a lot of things will happen, and it will have a positive effect. Binge drinking will lower in colleges. We will be in one with most of the world, and people in the army and all around can be drinking. Can drink no matter what age. Because just picture, a 19-year-old soldier just helped to save an attack on the U.S., yet he can't celebrate with a drink of beer. Thank you.